Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of our great city, Antonio Villarigossa.
Thank you, Robin, for the introduction. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for the years that you guided our office and me. When I hired Robin as my chief of staff, the city sighed a sigh of relief that I hired a grown-up, and I can tell you that she's been a big part of our administration and also a big part of the port today as a port commissioner. So thank you, my former chief of staff, Robin Kramer. Stephen, it was great to see you in that video montage because you have been a part of this effort. And it takes someone with commitment, someone with a passion, someone who's single-minded in their focus to shepherd a project like this, to connect two worlds that have been connected over the years, but to make the case that that connection needs to be even stronger. And the work that you and the board have done over the years to continue on this project. I think we first met when I was in the speakership and they asked me for money. That was when the state actually had money. And of course I answered the call and I've continued to answer the call over the years. But thank you for your leadership and for the tremendous vision and foresight that you have based in the past but looking to the future. Let's give Steve SASS and all the board members who are here. Can you stand up, the board members who are here? Are there any? I'm honored to welcome Deputy Foreign Minister Daniel Ayalon. It's easy to pronounce your name. The Sephardim are present here. And I couldn't be prouder to host you here in Boyle Heights, here at the Breed Street Shul and the community that I grew up in. I went to school here. I actually lived in City Terrace. But what people don't understand about these two communities is I went to school there, I lived there, but most of my activity was here. I went to Dolores Mission down the street from here, a Catholic school in the kindergarten, first grade. Second grade was down the way, San Antonio de Padua. Then I went to a school in City Terrace, Harrison Street School, then Santa Teresita, the projects here in Boyle Heights, then Cathedral High School, and then Roosevelt High School. So I've been connected here to this community since I first moved to Malabar and then to City Terrace. When I think back and I look back, and they wrote some really nice remarks here, but I don't need to read a speech to talk about the Breed Street Shul. When I look back on this community back then, my mother was born and raised here. My auntie was born and raised here. My grandpa came here, lived downtown and came here, in the 1903, and then somewhere probably in the 1920s moved here to Boyle Heights. And though I don't know exactly when, but what I do remember about this community is there was a vibrant Jewish community. Jewish life was here, and I was saying that there was this shul, the mother of all shuls, the largest shul, I guess, west of the Mississippi, but there was also another one just down the way on Wabash. It's now the Salesian Boys and Girls Club. That was another shul there. Both were Orthodox shuls. And I remember people walking on Friday night and Saturday afternoon and evening to go to the shul, to come here, to go to the one over there. I remember this feeling like, well, who are these people? But also a tremendous interest in them. And I remember, as I've said many times, those people who reached out with a helping hand. I think those of us who remember those years, and I obviously born in 1953, so I came late into this mix, but it was still present. There were Jews, there were Mexicans, there were Russians, there were blacks, Japanese Americans were a large population here, and they all lived side by side. And it was an amazing thing because in many ways, Boyle Heights was then what LA is today. And in some ways, even more so because they were living on the same block. They were living right next door to each other. They went to school with one another. My little brother went to a Jewish preschool. The librarians, the teachers were disproportionately Jewish. And in my own life, I remember in the 1950s, Jews coming over for dinner, blacks, Japanese Americans. It was a community that reveled in the diversity even back then. And I think that's what those of us who grew up in Boyle Heights appreciate so much about that experience. I believe that I am mayor today because I grew up in that multicultural life and I had a cultural intelligence about me that comes with being around a lot of different people. I believe that many of us who grew up here remember Boyle Heights precisely because of that. And as I've said so many times, I also wouldn't be mayor because I remember knocking on doors, people on the west side and in the valley, and they'd say to me, you're a good Boyle Heights boy. I grew up in Boyle Heights. You got my vote, son. And I think that's what those of us who are here, who grew up here, remember so fondly about Boyle Heights. A place that embraced new Americans, a place that was culturally rich. There were Catholic churches all around here as well. There were Protestant churches, but there were mostly people of good stock. And the fact that you all have done this, creating the bridge that reconnects these communities, I think is very, very important. And it's why I've always been a fan, and I've been here 25 or so times there and here and all the times that we've called, because there's something special about this place. And it's fitting that the first flag of Israel was flown here, because it's here that the first flag of Israel was flown in front of an Israeli consulate in the United States of America. And when your predecessor, and let me acknowledge Counsel General David Siegel, Israeli Counsel General, and Counsel General David Figueroa from Mexico, when your predecessor asked me to put that flag and to approve that flag and told me that this was the first, what a great way to come full circle. So I am happy to host you and to acknowledge you today, Mr. Deputy Foreign Minister. We've been in my home. We've come to know each other over the years. The relationship that this country and this city has with Israel is unique and deep and far-reaching and unbreakable. And for me, as I've said many times, it's unbreakable when I speak of me, and I'm not speaking of anyone else. It's unbreakable because of those early experiences, because of the people who opened the door for me. So it is indeed a great honor to welcome you.